Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, watchmen97. So, talk a bit about end times.
Yeah.
Where to start? Brother Barry, he says about the why are we in the end times? Why are we close to it? What are the signs? And he's got the three major signs, the three real deal breakers. The Great Peace Treaty of the century in January. Of course, we've had the Abraham Accord most recently with the Israel and the United Arab Emirates. That's the second one, and the third one is the temple, the third temple being built, which has never been a factor or a case in thousands of years ever, really. And that is on the verge with the two red heifers that are 2 years old now.
That's ready to go, drop of a hat there.
Exactly. That's the three great signs Brother Barry always brings up. If you want to go with great signs, three great ones that are mind-blowing. There's obviously,
1948, Israel.
Oh yeah, the fig tree generation as well, yeah. I think he mentions that. I must have taken one out. Maybe he has four. But that is the fig tree generation. We're at 72 years now, guys. 72 years. There's only 8 more years to go. Or almost 72. We're at 71 or 72, you know.
At the door.
At the door. Exactly. You know, and then there's all these other signs, and pestilences, famines. I heard yesterday, and I'm hearing this a lot more. A lot of people are uploading this about famine, about the December. I mean, I heard that back in, I think it was May or June, where the UN said by December there will be mass starvation globally in the world. And we're talking States, we're talking UK. We're not talking just Africa and Asia, everywhere. But they're really. That statement looks to be coming true because everybody is starting to say about the shelves are going to be empty soon, stock up on food. Dana Coverstone's had dreams about it. You know, everybody's just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that's famine. I mean, pestilences. We're seeing plagues, the coronavirus. We're seeing earthquakes, you know, and hurricanes at record levels, more intense, more frequent. You know. And of course they blame climate change, even though God clearly controls the weather.
Yeah. Just remember, you know, with everything that's going on, you know, Steve just made me think about mentioning the food crisis and stuff, you know. All these things need to come to pass, yeah. You know, let's be aware of them, definitely. You know, I said it, you know, but so we can prepare to a certain extent. You know, this is why these are the times of mercy, you know, you can look at it, because stuff's going to get so bad that people are going to, you know, it's the wake-up call, it's the alarm call, you know what I mean? This is like, you know, when Noah's Ark was about to close up and stuff, you know what I mean? The end time signs, you know, thunder in the, you know, the clouds are coming over. Oh, it might rain, you reckon? You know what I mean? The curtains, innit? So, all I'm saying is, yeah, it's mercy, end of the day, you know? The guy with the name, you know, what's it, Methuselah, you know, hold on, let me, the longest person who has lived, and it's Methuselah. That's the mercy, you know, after he died, that's when the flood came, yeah. So the oldest person in the Bible that's died, Methuselah. Yeah, so, you know, we've got to be thankful as well that these things will come to pass because of that fact that people will take notice now, you know. Oh, why is this book been talking about everything that's happening right now? It's like, maybe I should have a look into it, you know what I mean? So it's like people are going to be drawn to Christ because of the tribulation, you know. But we've all got markers, like Steve was saying about 1948, the fig tree prophecy is, you know, the signs in the stars, and the, you know, and then you've got obviously the abomination of desolation. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's different ways of interpreting that. You know, some people reference it to like the biggest Christian church going, you know, with the papacy and stuff. You know, and there's this there's a lot of similarities for sure that you can draw from that's revelation too. But we also got to remember prophecy is a repeat of events, isn't it? You know, before Messiah came, what were they doing? They were acting out prophecy, you know, going to the temple, you know, spilling the blood, you know, that was all prophecy in the making, right? But they missed the actual event, you know what I mean? And just in that same sense, you know, people can draw the conclusion that, it's this, it's that. There's been many times where people could say, yo, this fits up, this matches up to prophecy, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, yeah, it matches up because it's prophecy. End of the day, it's giving us a hint of what the situation will be like. But let's not try and close our eyes to these things, like, you know, God trying to put him in a box. You know, you can only do things the way I think you can do things, you know, like, you know, Steve said before about the GoFundMe thing, you know, and he can speak however he likes, you know, he's the creator, you know, so let's not put limits on what he can do and what he has planned for, you know, because if we are in the 7 years and we're in the first half now, referring back to the 2017 signing,
Revelations passed on,
then things have been going pretty well, haven't they? You know what I mean? If it's the first, so we just don't know what's going to happen. End of the day, this is what it is. Obviously we know the markers, blah blah blah, but I mean,
it depends on the way you look at it. If you look at it from your life, things are going well, but people
stood in the bloody fire NATO. It's the end of the world, isn't it?
You see that big explosion in Kent yesterday?
Kent?
No. It was like I don't want to say like the Lebanon one, the Beirut one, but it was a mushroom explosion. It was really big. Yeah, it was a what was it? Not a gas. It's something like a gas explosion. Yeah, it was really bad.
Mushroom cloud thing.
Yeah, it was in Kent. You know, a few more I've just remembered. You know, false prophets. Christ said there'll be false prophets. You know, Chelsea Bedell and Lee. I'm going there. They claim they were prophets, prophesying, saying, "Oh, I've heard God said this." You know, what load of rubbish. Deceivers. You could put that with them as well. Deception. But there's plenty of deception.
Yeah.
You know, even that Out of Shadows video. It's worth a watch. There's this video called Out of Shadows. Started from no subscribers, and they just uploaded a video, got 15 million views about Hollywood and how it's ridiculous. It's got Pizzagate in there and everything. Deception. Now the news has been lying to us. How the CIA have got involved, you know, and MI5 in England, you know, controlling the BBC News, and the CIA and FBI controlling NBC News and Fox News and whatever, you know, in America, and the influence to this mind control to get us to think the way we want to think. Deception. Yeah.
This is leading me back to what I was trying to speak about earlier. Yeah, we just moved quickly with the sun and that on the camera. So, but yeah, as I was saying, going back to the food situation around the world and that, you know, just like with the whole virus that's just plagued the world, it's just showing us that people are gullible. And at the end of the day, we put our reliance on the government, you know. We rely on them to have our best interests in heart, but they don't, you know, and people still think that they do for some reason. I don't quite know. It's not like they haven't done enough to prove that they ain't on our side, you know what I mean? So they can manipulate us for sure, you know. We know that people that are woke, you know that word, woke. It's a bit silly. Yeah, so just as I was saying, you know, we need to be aware of what's going on, you know. Let's not be easily led, you know. Do not be deceived. Didn't Jesus say that, you know? You have to watch. Don't be deceived. That wasn't like, oh, maybe don't be. It's like telling you, you know, there's people out there trying to deceive you. Do not be deceived, you know what I mean? It's like clear statement, no question, you know. So there is a lot of deception going on, you know. We got to be really careful. You know? Stay with scripture, you know. You don't understand it, don't worry. You know, the parts that you do need to understand, you'll understand, you know. So we just gotta, at least it's you that doesn't know it. It's not someone else telling you information on their presumption. Oh, this is how it is because that's what my brain says it is. You know what I mean? It's like we can't. You know, when Jesus is speaking in parables and that, it says like, I know maybe some of you can understand me, some of you can't understand me, but in time, you know, with learning and stuff, you get the understanding. You know, we've all been there when we don't understand. And then over time, for some reason, it just clicks. Oh yeah, that's what it was about. You know, then the Spirit speaks to us in those kind of ways. You know, or you overhear someone. You know, yeah, you may have heard this kind of stuff before, but for those who haven't, you know. So rather come to your own conclusions in a sense, but don't try and say, oh, mine are right and yours aren't.
Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, don't say that. But try, if it's like I've got a different opinion, you know, this is why I believe it to say this, and it's like, well, okay, fair enough.
We don't believe that the tribulation's right now, by the way. It was just you were just saying that as an example, weren't you? Or do
Yeah.
you?
Do I?
Yeah. It would be a lot worse, as you were
Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
alluding to, weren't you?
Yeah. So could it be?
It could be though.
But it's a calm before the storm, you know?
I think it's birth pains, personally, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it's different. It could be many different things. This is what we're getting down to, you know?
yeah.
We can present the options. It could be this, it could be that, you know? Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, peace. We know there's got to be peace first, isn't it? Because what's his name? The geezer, the clown, Antichrist. He's coming in, isn't he? And when he comes in, he's bringing the false peace, right? That's why we know there's going to be that, isn't it? So, does that happen at a peak of turmoil? And if it does, that makes sense because everyone's going to be running from here to there. You know, someone was saying the other day about when you see, there's this geezer, there's this guy back in the day, and he I think he was Russian, and he I don't know, it's a bit graphic, but he was really mean to an animal. And then when the animal was at its lowest point, he himself would start feeding it, you know? And this animal would be loyal for the rest of its life because it was just, this is the person that took it away from this horrific kind of state. Yeah. And it didn't care that it was the same person that was doing it to him, you know? We might have seen it in like Games of Thrones. I don't know if any of you have seen Game of Thrones, but there's a guy, he gets kidnapped and he gets harmed, for any fragile minds out there. And when he's harmed, over time, the person that was doing it to them started to show affection and help him out and like, oh, here's a nice meal, you know. And over time, they became loyal unto almost death, you know. They snapped out of it in the end, if you've seen it, blah, blah, blah. But it just goes to show that with the Antichrist, he gets stuff to a point where we are, and then he brings the answers out. Then everyone's going to fall in line, I know. Yeah. You know, and it makes sense. And logically, if it's what Jesus said, anyway, the great delusion, you know, that what is it? Like everyone could, if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived. Now, what does that mean? If it were possible, yeah. So it's not possible that the elect will be deceived, but because of him, he's made it so that it's not possible. What does that mean? Does it mean rapture because the elect won't be there to be, or does it mean because we'll have information that we won't be deceived because that message will be on our hearts and in our minds? So this is where speculation comes back in, isn't it? You read a line and you try and find out what it means, but you don't go to war over it, you know? So we just have to see. But,
it's very important that you do not take what man says and men, you know, too seriously. I mean, I go by scripture and scripture alone, but I do listen to men. I do listen to opinions, and I gain knowledge. And but you got to take it with a pinch of salt. You got to take it in. Like, I watch a lot of videos as well, guys. You know, and take it in, but don't take it as gospel. You know, there was a pastor yesterday. It was very interesting in America. I don't think it was John MacArthur, but he really looked like him. And I don't think it's John MacArthur because he has spoke about the coronavirus. But this pastor, it might have been him. I might be wrong. And he said he was in his church. And it was just sort of, I don't know if this clip's gone viral, but he said it was being recorded by one of his, you know, the person that was going to church, and he said Rona, the virus, and he said he hasn't brought it up once, and you know, I think he was waiting for 100% evidence, you know, to doing it the right way, and he said something about this organisation for disease where they're the organisation where it might have been where they
CDC or the World Health Organization.
It weren't who?
CDC is American.
Might be CDC then. It sounds about right. That does. I think it might have been CDC.
Centre of Disease and Control.
Yeah, it was that. He said they came out the other day and said that only 6% of the 100% really died from coronavirus. 94% didn't die from coronavirus, they died from other causes. So it was just the part where Joe mentioned about this virus, where, you know, it's deception. I don't think it's as bad. And they even say this outright, that, you know, there's a 0.1% chance of dying from this virus. Certainly
it's less likely than me going across the road right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's higher chances of me dying crossing that road over there than on the coronavirus, you know. So
there's been other viruses. The Spanish flu was the worst. Didn't it kill like 8 million people? Maybe more than that. I might be misquoting, but
no, I think
millions.
Right. About 8 million or so.
Yeah.
It was really
a lot.
Because it went worldwide, didn't it? It was wildfire, that one.
Yeah.
People could have said, "Oh, you know, the trumpets. Did we miss it?" You know, I mean, back then, what the heck's going on? You know.
Yeah.
Jesus said it's going to be worse than. But anyway,
Feast of Trumpets is a high watch time, in my opinion. Really high watch time. 18th of September this year. And Watchman on the Wall 88 did a video the other day. I just want to quickly mention this. And he said that there's going to be a big siege on the White House on the September 17th, which is the day before the rapture, in my opinion. Very interesting. There's going to be a siege for 50 days. 50 days. This is fact. The protesters and rioters, they're going to do a siege on the White House, and they're going to try and get Trump out. Yeah. It's crazy. They're just going to surround it, and they don't care.
Pray for them. You're going to need it.
Yeah. Feast of Trumpets is a high watch time. 18th to the 19th of September, because it passes over into the evening. You've got to think of Israel's time as well. And first day of the 7th month, which is what the Feast of Trumpets is in Jewish calendar.
Okay.
And it's a high watch time, guys. I'm going to go more in depth into that probably in the next video, and give you loads of reasons why I think the rapture is on the 18th. But let's not be disappointed if it isn't. Don't get your hopes up. It's just a possibility. We're looking for that blessed hope, but that just means it isn't a appointed time. That's all, you know. And we'll just keep looking. But it's soon. Trust me, it's soon. But it might not even be a rapture, isn't it?
Exactly.
You don't know what to believe. I believe there is a rapture, but I concede that there might.
A rapture.
Yeah, I concede that there might not be a rapture. We might, as Christians, have to go through the tribulation, and God might see it fit not to save the church, but He might want it as a test for us, you know, to cry out Christ's name when we're about to be beheaded, and see how loyal we are to Him. You don't know, do you? So we'll just see. You know, it's a matter of opinion, and I respect other people's opinions. I respect people who believe there's a rapture. I respect people who don't believe there's a rapture. But one thing's for sure is we're all going to find out.
Oh yeah.
And pretty soon.
Right. Yeah. Any final?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Two videos today. Oh well, I need my Bible with me to get deep into the rapture, guys, and like the Feast of Trumpets, if I'm being honest with you. Notes as well. I've left them at home today, but Joe said some very interesting things today, and there's all them great signs that we mentioned earlier, and then previous video before this about the 2 false prophets. Stay well away from them. The dog's barking somewhere. Oh, it's the horses again. And yeah, guys, I guess we'll catch you on the next one. God bless.
God bless.